What's happening, everybody? I'm Darren, and on this video I'm finally going to be styling with some wire and some pruning my field elm yamadori bonsai. On my bonsai channel I like to share my journey in the bonsai world. Consider subscribing, it's free and you can always change your mind later. This time I do actually have a very strong design concept in mind for this tree. There are lots of buds on the insides of these branches, so I'm going to try as hard as I can to avoid knocking them with the wire. It's going to look a bit weighty on some of the thinner branches, but because I'm trying to put bends in short branches, I really want to make sure that I've got the holding power to do the job that I want. And then this piece I'm going to move up. Back down. A little tip that I've picked up from Ryan Neal of Bonsai Mirai: when you come to place structural wire across a junction like this, by laying the wire over that junction, you provide support to it, resisting the chance that it'll split when you come to further wiring these tertiary pieces. Just in here we've got a group of 3 branches. We've got 2 close together and then the continuation of the secondary branch. I'm going to take this one off just. And then we've got a similar situation here with a bit of a knuckle forming. And I'm going to remove this lower branch. Right, well, a couple of weeks have elapsed since I started the work on this tree. A lockdown was announced. Time's running short because I'm still working and homeschooling, so I had to put everything away and concentrate on other stuff. But I'm back now, so I'm ready to resume. I'm just looking through the apex and I can see that I might make 1 or 2 tweaks. Because this is quite long and doesn't have any buds in the intermediate, I am actually going to prune this piece back, wire this piece into place. I'll cut it back to here to see if we get any buds on this small piece. But if not, I'm quite happy to cut right back to this piece here, and this can take over the development of that branch. I'm going to come in here. We've got a bit of congestion. Be careful with a small bud around the back there. Don't want to crush that guy. Just got to be very careful on this bit, not to squash that bud. And then I'm going to move this piece up and towards the centre like so, and then this guy up into this space here. Just very carefully just tease that. There we go. Now I think that this longer, thicker piece is actually too long coming right out here, and it's also interfering with what I want to do with this bit. We've got a bud here. There's also a bud on the other side here. And just behind this junction here, we've also got another tiny bud. We'll come back to this topmost bud here. By leaving a longer stub, this bud here will be encouraged to grow more this way than this way. Got hot, just going to take this hoodie off. Here's another one of these kitsch bonsai t-shirts that I got for Christmas. Family loves to buy me these. And then being careful not to damage any of the buds. Just going to very gently apply the wire to this one as well. There we go. And that's good. Now that we're all in place on that side, all I need to do is just come and put the last turn on this one. To position it, I'm just going to come in, back over, and I'm going to cut back to this small piece in here. This guy can come in. And back across and just tweak the tip up. Okay, looking at this piece, we've got the potential for a bud there, although there isn't one. We've got a bud just there. There's one right on the inside there. Now we've got this quite long straight section coming out here. I think what I'm going to do, prune that long piece off. Then on this section we've got 2 buds right on the inside there. We've got a 3rd bud out here, so I'm going to cut that piece to there. With this branch here, it's coming right out over this useful branch underneath it. And because we've got some viable buds here and we've got this branch here, so it bifurcates, I feel comfortable to come in and prune that away. And then as I follow this structure out here, I think that this junction is unnecessary actually. This branch is getting in the way of this branch. It's also a little awkward in this area. I think if I pair these 2 up, that'll work a bit better. Actually no, I don't agree with that. I'm going to take this piece off. That's going to leave me with more room over here. I'm going to keep this piece, then it alternates to this piece and then this piece. I'm just going to slightly tweak this guy around and create a bit more space inside here for these 2 to coexist. A piece of wire to move this one out, and that'll look much better I think. Okay, so I'm just going to come in and tweak this out like so. That's just going to put this guy in its own little piece of space so it doesn't interfere with this piece here. I've got a small bud right in there, 2, 3 buds that I can cut back to. I pull that in nice and tight. That gives me a bit more room for this piece to manoeuvre. I might come over here a bit further. This guy here is quite long and straight. It's got no buds or any nodes at all on it actually. I am going to drop that back to there, and I drop this piece back to here. I might leave it at that for now, put some wire on and then go from there. Just having a look, with this straight section with no taper here, I am actually going to cut back to that piece. That's going to work quite nicely. And again, we've got this longer, straighter piece here. I think it's a little bit too long and also a little bit lacking in taper. So I will also prune that piece out as well. Just got to be careful not to damage the buds of the piece that I'm cutting back to. Whoop. Now the apex is starting to take shape, I can now tell that I just don't need this branch. It's been annoying me since I got this tree. It's in a terrible location really. This branch at the back, it's quite straight up to here. It branches into 3. Whichever one of these 3 that I remove, it's going to leave suboptimal branching, so I might actually just cut this right back to here, so that then I've got one piece here and one piece here to give me a bifurcation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, like there we go. I don't need this secondary. I can make the branch that I want to make using just this. And now I'm just looking at the tree, looking at the work that I've done so far, and I'm not quite happy with this branch. When I originally wired it, I thought that I would just need to tweak the position up here a little bit, so I didn't use any heavier wire, but now as I'm looking at it, I do think I'd like to persuade it just a little bit lower and further around to the back to give the tree a little bit more depth. And the wire that I've got on here isn't beefy enough to do the job, so I'm going to take this off, redo this, and I'll pick up where we've left off. Right, let's dive in then. I'm just going to cut the wire away. There's no point saving this and reusing it. These cutters, they're not cheap, but they're really good. They're the perfect shape, and these can go through the thickest of wire that we're ever going to use for bonsai. They can be a little bit unwieldy if you're working with a small shohin tree or trying to get into some tighter spots, but they really do the job well. There we go. The wire that I had on previously was 2mm, so I'm going to step it up to 3mm. Now I think that was a mistake. I was going to cut back to this side piece, so I trimmed a bit of wire out, and it was actually supporting the branch. I didn't notice that. That was an error. I've just tweaked that a little bit so it's just positioned a little bit better. But that does mean that now I can cut back to here. What about if I just tease this piece just a little bit? So it's not an eye poker, but this guy does have just a little bit more room to get some light. Just keeping an eye on the shoulder of this bit as I do so, because I'm putting quite a lot of movement into a short space. No tears yet. And then to compensate for that, I'll just come back up a little bit there. Okay, this is where I want it to be. Now I can focus on the interesting branch, this big, thick, gnarly branch. I've been told that I should air layer this tree above that branch and get rid of the bottom, but I really like the character of this. I think it speaks to the species. I've looked at a lot of old pictures of elms, and they tend to develop this very apically dominant tall crown that gets wide. Lower branches die off because they're shaded. But that ends up letting more light into the base, and then you get a strong branch develop and just runs away, gets its own little bit of light, and boom, away it goes. Also, I think there's scope with this tree to actually lean it back over a little bit like that, and then we're starting to discuss the edge of the woods. This tree being on the edge of the woods, here's pretty shady, you got the odd weaker branch, and this one's just gone boom, reaching out for the light. So let's see if we can get a bit of wire onto this branch and bring out that environmental character. We've got a little piece coming from this junction here. I don't think I need that. It's going to get fairly cluttered in this area. I don't need a depth branch here because I've got this piece. So I am just going to really quickly just prune this one off. Right, and what I'll do in the summer is I'm going to whittle this knob down. I'm not going to do it now because my carving tool is dead and I need to replace it, and I just haven't got anything else to do it with at the moment. So try and turn a bit of a blind eye to this big bulge. He says as if you're going to end up liking this branch. You're going to hate it. I know it. I want this branch to be sort of coming out and then heading off up to the sky, because it's managed to break free of the canopy and really explode upwards. I think if we go up here and across here and then up again, I think it's going to look a bit awkward and end up being too wide. Let's just see if I agree with myself there. Yeah, no, I definitely don't agree with myself there. I can get the best image from this piece rather than this piece. So I am going to take this piece off actually. Just make some space in here. A little bit of callus mate. Just because it is the winter, it's not the ideal time to be doing this work, so I really want to just tread as carefully as I possibly can. And because I don't need to wire anything else on this tree apart from this big structural piece, I'm going to use a hook. So I've just created a little hook in here. It's supported by the wire that was already there. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever done, especially seeing as it's facing the front of the tree, but it's secure and it's functioning, so I'm going to go with that. And now for the bend, I will rotate at this bit and also come out a little bit further. Up here. I'll be able to refine those curves when I've got a little bit more time, make it look a little bit more natural, a little bit less S-shaped. For now though, I'm going to just cut back a degree to a lovely little outward facing bud here. Oh yeah, let's show you the front. So hopefully that gives you an idea of where this piece is heading. Now I'll just see about pruning and maybe wiring these smaller side shoots. There's just a bud on the inside there. I don't need one that close, so I'll just knock that one off on purpose. Looks a little bit clunky in this junction just because I've had to reverse the direction of the turn, but it's okay, I'm not too worried. Follow this piece out. There it is. I'm super excited to show this to you now. It's turned out actually better than I thought it would. I'm really happy with this. I can't believe that I've managed to actually pull it off, to be honest with you. Let's turn it round. Alright folks, I'm feeling pretty pleased with myself on this one. You all might hate it, but I really enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts, I'd love to know. Actually don't. Yeah, do. Go on, let me know. Actually no, don't. Yeah, go on. Tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I do want to do real quick though. I just want to tweak this guy just down just a little bit. Not so much that it interferes with this branch, but just to take it off the level that this apical piece is sat at.